I'm John Beaudin here with another up-and-comer. Today, it's Jacqine. Well, once a week, we like to feature an artist that we have really fallen in love with. An artist that kind of makes us stop in our tracks. Jacqine was a Facebook friend of mine, and she kept coming up on my timeline. She takes a lot of pictures. And sometimes they used to say in marketing that when you see someone coming over here, then you see them over here and over there, you start going, okay, I'll pay attention. Who is this? Do I even know this person? Is it worth it? I stopped and I listened to one of her videos and I thought, yeah, she's got it. Here's our conversation with Jacqine.
I did not want to, on YouTube, newer artists, because every time I presented them on Rock History Music, that audience who are 60 years old like me, maybe a little younger, maybe cats from the 80s, but mostly older. And I realized they didn't, not that they didn't like new music, but they didn't come to my channel for that, to cut them some slack. And now and then I'd hear an artist and I'd go, yeah, I wish I did newer music. When I heard you're one of those artists. I heard you sing and I went, no, you and the two other ladies. And I went, no, this is it. I'm starting a new channel. I want to, it's my job to promote good music, and my God, your voice just transfixed me.
Wow, I'm so glad about that. Well, that was my first instrument, my voice, my first instrument. I do play keyboards and I do all sorts of orchestrations for many instruments. I do patterns for bass and guitar, you name it, I do it. Even drums to some extent, though drums is not exactly my forte, but I can do them occasionally. So I have added drums to my tracks. I have a person by the name of Craig Levy from Little Pioneer Cider House. He does the drums most of the time, unless I have like a person who remixes and that sort of thing, yeah.
Going back to you, when I heard you, I'm going, okay, she's going up here. She's going further up. When did you know at least you could go in front of people and you wouldn't be laughed at? You go, oh, I got this. When did you know? At what age?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, when I was about 10 years old, my dad, took me aside to listen to records, to mimic records, to listen, to get influences. And, I didn't know half about what I know about singing as I do today. So I started off listening to many, many singers at that time. But it was only over time, many years later, that I came into my own sound. I feel that I've developed my own sound, and I think it was really in my 20s where I had developed my own sound and come into how I can sing today.
Give me a sign you're here. I need to know you care. I need you here with me. I am fulfilled by you.
Is that just a natural thing? You just follow your nose when you write?
It's like that for me. It's amazing that people in the past have said to me, you come at things from a different angle. It's sort of ingrained in me that it's amazing you pick on that. That is me. Many layers to me, and for me, I look at things from sometimes different angles, and where I can really have strength there with that peripherally, looking at those things. But some people may not think of going in that direction, where I may have thought of that going in direction. Even when I had written term papers, it's sort of crossed over into that as well. So it's like seems like a natural thing that it's innately in me, I guess. And I've evolved my skills over time, developing more skills over time, and seeing where I can improve them, of course. But when I write, people will sometimes ask me, well, do you write the lyrics first? Do you write the music first? What I try to do is match up the lyrics. I'm also audiovisual, so I can envision the visuals sometimes to my music. So sometimes what I do is I'll find the chord progressions that match up with the lyrics and the melodies, and somehow get them to match. It doesn't always happen perfectly, I must tell you, but sometimes when it works, I mean, many times when it works, it works. And then I can envision the visual side of it and how the video is going to move along with it. So having a narrative with it. I have a videographer that I found. He's fantastic. He wants to do a video, and I have thoughts in mind of what song and what I'm going to do on that. But yeah, that's how I do it. And sometimes I think of lyrics first. Sometimes it's melodies first, and sometimes it's keyboards first, and then the lyrics and melodies. So it kind of can work either way. But many times it can work together where I'm just sitting at the keyboards and then I think of lyrics and melody at this kind of the same time as playing keyboards.
Without faith, we're here to stay. With this faith, we're here to stay.
So you're at a party and you don't know a lot of people there, let's say, and someone comes up to you and they go, well, I'm going to go talk to that lady. And they say, well, what's your passion? And you say, well, I'm a singer. How would you describe not your career, but your music? Because careers, a lot of people should be on number one and they're not. So I don't care about that as much. I mean, the artist cares. But what about your music? So how would you describe your music?
I think, I write ballads, I write film score music. I feel that a number of songs that I have can be definitely film tracks. Smooth jazz, a lot of smooth jazz stations have picked up on it.
It was this dream of my success. There seemed to be clues to follow. I looked to follow my intuition so that it come to fruition. And I'd say, oh yeah, notify me now. And I'd say, notify me now.
When I heard the single, I went, God, smooth jazz has got to pick up on this.
Yeah, and they did. And, smooth jazz stations have picked up on it. Smooth jazz dance stations have picked up on some of my music. And even film people have seen that there's potential with their film tracks, which is fantastic. And also, even stations that play a variety of music, not only smooth jazz, but some of them have picked up on the music because some of my songs actually have a rock element to them. I mean, the song I Really Did Love You, Alan Singleton, he remixed the track, the remix in the UK, and people, he told me I have permission to play his remix because he added drums and he did bass on that. I mean, I did the bass originally, but he enhanced the bass, I should say. But I did like all the instruments on that otherwise, except for the main drums, which Craig Levy again did the drums on that. But that has a rock element to it. So some of my songs fall into that rock area. Even songs like Say That We're One from my first album. My first album is called New Direction, and that's on Amazon. And Say That We're One definitely has that rock element guitar. And even in the song Hold Me Forever, you can hear Craig Levy did the rock guitar in that one. But yeah, so some of the music I do have has that element of rock. But smooth jazz, dance, pop, I'd say ballads, some R&B for sure.
There's a lot of elements to your personality, right?
Yeah,
Musical
as many levels to my personality in the sense of, I do things like I cook, I work besides music, I work in the language service industry. That's my full-time job, in the language service industry. But my spare time, I do music.
What is that? What does that mean?
Oh, the language service industry. So, say companies that need translation, language service, like, over the phone interpreting. That's what the company I work for provide services and products for that. So I support teams of people, and it's a great job. I have been in the industry for quite a long time. But yeah, music is my spare time, but I love doing music the way I'm doing it. I love having a foundation of having a full-time, stable, steady job. It's great. And then the music is really progressing well. I've been heard in over 40 countries. I have over 35,000 listeners, probably more now. And I've been played in many parts of the world, from like South Africa to the UK to Australia to Spain, many places in the world.
We connect, we connect, we connect on a certain level. We connect, we connect, we connect on a certain level. What is it about you? What did you see that's different to me from what you had before? I think I feel jaded.
A lot of music fans would rather have variety, you know?
Yeah, and that's me. I mean, I try to make variety with my songs, but at the same time, I want people to know my composer footprint kind of thing. Because I do have a composer footprint. There's ways that I compose, but I like the fact that people could hear something and say, oh, that's different. That's not like something I've heard before for a track, you know, because that also keeps it interesting. It keeps it interesting for new albums coming out.
Hold me forever, never let me go. I said, hold me forever, never let me go. Won't you hold me forever? Don't let me go.
How has COVID-19 affected you as an artist? Has it helped in a way? Because a lot of artists say, the artists that tour a lot, obviously it affects them in a bad way. But the artists who are in a mood for creating and or decided, well, I'm going to create because of this, how's it affected you?
Thanks for asking the question. It's affected me in the sense that the studio that I had gone to for the audio engineer, it has not affected us working together because we work together well remotely. But I mean, when I was in the studio, it was a different setup because I have Logic Pro that I use as my DAW, and he has a totally different DAW. So it just it was a learning curve, but now we're working well together in how we're doing it. But in the studio, I was just able to work with his DAW rather than, you know, just transferring it from Logic Pro or however we're doing it now. But in terms of how it's affected me, you know, I'm writing a lot of music. My concentration, one of them has been to get film score work. I've been reaching out to people, you know, for that. That's a big focus of mine. And then, of course, sending to radio. I've been played on the radio, so it hasn't affected me there. I would say I put a local band together as well. It has affected that because we wanted to get local gigs and we couldn't play local gigs, and you know, because of the pandemic. So, you know, it's affected me in that sense. But you know, things have moved digitally online, so I'm just really trying to adapt, and I've been adapting and adjusting to this whole pandemic thing, which I think I've adjusted. I feel like I've adjusted well, and I could adjust more. You know, I could adjust better as well with my music. But I think, you know, I'm hoping it ends. The pandemic ends, but I hope it ends sooner than not. But I just adjusting to what's happening out there.
How did I believe you were there when you ended it? And how did I believe that you cared when you ended us? All I have is memories of you, but I have my happiness that we remain friends.
The Cannes Film Festival thing, what was that all about?
At that time, there was a label called Oxygen Music Records, and I was signed to Oxygen Music Records. And they had licensed a song that I originally wrote, and then Andy Shee had produced, and he added some co-writing too. And he brought it to the Cannes Film Festival, and it was licensed in 13 countries, that song. So I was very lucky to have music licensed like that, you know, and that was a sign to me that I could do film music and I could be successful. That when 13 countries licensed my song, and then I had on Radio Indie Alliance, a couple of my songs went to #1. I was Artist of the Week on Angelo Petruzzi's radio station. I was recently in the top 10 on another song. So I've charted. I also was written about in Billboard. Dance music that I used to sing, I was written about in Billboard and Vibe Music Magazine, in Dance Music Authority, and some other magazine as well. But yeah, but my music really fits very well, like for film, but then smooth jazz and the dance genres. Also, I feel like some of my music will fit there as well.
If you like what you heard, there'll be links in the description of this video. This channel is all about up-and-coming artists, either who have made it or should have made it or will make it one of these days, because we really believe in them. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin. This is My Chill.